Congratulations, guys. Spencer, welcome back. Dorian, welcome to the Brooklyn Nets. First off, what does it mean to be a part of the Brooklyn Nets organization, and how did you guys find out?
Um, how did I find out? I mean, I guess just reading the tea leaves to a degree. Sorry, look, actually, I have Invisalign, so um, it gets a little hard to talk. Yeah, probably just reading the tea leaves. I guess having a good agent that's on top of things and seeing how it was going and understanding where it seemed the Nets were going to draw their line on the package and you know understand that we may not be the best trade package, but we the best looking, and the Nets needed some help in that department. So they drew their line on Doan Spence, and now we here. So
Um, I was in the hotel and I got a call from Nico. So out of nowhere, but I'm happy to be here.
Spencer, for you, you spent many years here. What does it mean for you to come back to this organization and to bring your family back to Brooklyn?
it's interesting. A lot of nostalgia. I've said it a lot of times before, right? Like Dallas and Brooklyn, mainly Brooklyn, obviously because I was here for 5 years. The most fun I've had in my NBA career, made my NBA career. Nothing bad to say. Even when I left, I wanted to have a contract here. That's something that I talked about. First rate. I grew up here in terms of as an NBA player. Kenny to Steve, what I'm saying, with the roster turnover, going from like a Jeremy Lin-led group with Brooke Lopez, who, shoot, I'm still friends with, to D'Lo-led group, Spunky, playoffs and energy, to like Max guys and championship aspirations. And, outside of last year, I pretty much been there the whole entire time, the entire Sean Marks run. And even last year, watched it from afar and rooted for those guys just because of friends in the locker room. For example, Joe, I think he's a first-rate individual and somebody that I root harder for than anybody outside of probably Jared Allen, in the NBA. And coincidentally, obviously, I met him here too. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. And Elijah's about to be 5 now, so he's not crawling around anymore. He's going to be in here acting like he's running things. So just so you know.
Spencer, this is twofold. What was other than the birth of Elijah,
Yeah.
what was your favorite memory while you were here?
Favorite memory while I was here? Probably. I mean, I want to pick a on the court one, but since you put in perspective with my son, I'd probably say signing my first deal. I think that kind of like set the stage just for my family. My career's been hard. And that right there kind of solidified like knowing like my family's gonna be fine. And obviously there's been a lot of on court moments that were cool. I remember the game winner against the Cavs that one day that D'Lo sat. That kind of kept me in the lineup. Then there was the, game winner I had two against the Pistons, which was great because I hated them at the time and kind of buried that hatchet after the second game when I was cool. Just different stuff. The Rockets game was fun. That like on Houston floor, T-Mac style. That was great. Hey, listen, you don't lead the league in game winners for no reason. Brooklyn had a lot of them. But, overall, I would say in terms of focus on the trade and trying to get to another win-now mode team, I was just happy that Doe was able to come too.
Yeah.
Understanding what he brings to the table. Immediately, like when they called and asked about him, I told him like that's not gonna be a guy you want to lose. He's a guy that defends 1 through 5 really. Doesn't care if he shoots one time as long as we win. We'll pick up full court. We'll, like I said, guard a big, shoots 40% from 3 on a normal year. Rangy, athletic. Like I ain't met a guy he can't guard outside of me. So I'm just proud that he's here, man.
Appreciate that.
I got one for each of you. Spencer, you talked about kind of being here the whole Sean Marks run. I mean, you got hurt, I think, game 3 in that first season with Steve. I mean, do you look at this almost like a second bite of the apple to contend for a title here since you were kind of on the outside looking in that first year with Kevin and Kyrie?
Yeah, no, that was kind of crazy because we were rolling people through preseason, through the first couple games. Got hurt, and obviously, the trades and everything that went down, understandably so. Being in win-now mode, when you got possibly the greatest scorer of all time, it's a blessing to play competitive basketball. I also said that when I first got to Dallas, from DC, I said, at this stage of my career, I have no interest in playing like losing basketball and understand the type of talent we have. And like I said, bringing a guy of Dove's caliber and his pedigree, willingness to do anything to win, joining guys that obviously had that same type of mentality in Royce, Joe, et cetera. It's going to be fun. And yeah, to a degree, it is a second bite of the apple. And although I wanted to win one for Dallas, I mean, obviously there's a certain level of just pride that it would be to bring a championship to Brooklyn over any other organization in the league, including an LA team or something. Being from LA, it would still be more prideful, like doing it here, just because, like I said, in a lot of ways it made my career. So proud to be back, happy to be back, and always appreciative.
And you've played this team twice now this year. I mean, where do you think you can help the most coming in?
Just come in and be me, be a competitor. Like Spence said, I just want to win. So just try to find ways to win. Any way I can affect the game, I want to do it. So.
Spencer, a couple questions for you. Been a while. Well, number one, welcome back to Brooklyn. Been a while since you've been there. Has your game evolved or changed since you last came here, or has it just been refining the same tools that you had?
I think basketball life, everything has an evolutionary process, and so, yeah, I've gotten better in a lot of areas. But it's not like you're going to see me necessarily moving completely different. Try to attack the paint with speed, as Kenny would say. Use my advantage against smaller guards a little bit, as Steve would say. Bring that commitment to winning and focus and stuff that JV would talk about a lot. And just being committed to win. Understand, like I said before, what stage of career I'm at. Being dedicated to win, play winning basketball, understanding on a championship caliber team, probably a 2 or 3 in the pecking order, and doing whatever it needs on a nightly basis to, help that team at that time. Whether that be defending or, scoring the basketball, distributing the basketball, whatever's necessary. So that's kind of my focus and where I think my game stands.
And second, when you were here last, it was pretty clear that this team was moving towards the superstars. Now that you're back here, in exchange for a superstar, does it kind of feel like, where did it all lead you back to me?
You said what?
Does it kind of feel like, where did it all lead you back to me since you're coming back?
Nah, you used the Thanos meme, bro. See, hey, listen, I'm too big of a Marvel fan for you to slide it in there and me not notice. You ain't gonna trip me up, Christian. Don't do that. No. I'm here though, but
I had to try it one time. Dorian, moving on to you. Just were you expecting? Did you think you were gonna stay in Dallas? Was this all a shock to you, or did you kind of have an idea that this was?
I mean, the odds of me, staying in Dallas my whole career is not lightly. That's for more, for somebody like Luka. But I knew I can, be moved, so I'm not surprised. I appreciate everything, everybody did for me at Dallas, Cuban and everything. They gave me a chance, going undrafted. But I'm excited to be here. New opportunity, new city, closer to home. So, I'm excited.
Dorian, you're a fellow Chesapeake, Virginia native like Cam Thomas. How far back do you go with him, and what have you made of his last 2 games while we're at it?
Man, he been hooping. I remember Cam when he was about 10. Just seeing him work out and all the work he done put in. He always been a bucket. Just got to get him to talk a little bit more. But nah, he always been a bucket. So I'm excited to be out there with him.
Hey, Spencer, you haven't been gone that long, but a lot of stuff's happened here. I mean, what was it like watching from afar? Is one guy goes, now another guy goes, and you come back for that guy? And is it just business as usual, or did this feel like, man, I can't believe how much stuff has happened there?
I mean, I've been on my own odyssey during that time period too. So as much as I would watch, I was also kind of focused on the journey that I had at hand at the time. It's been a year and a half, but it feels like it's been about like 5, to be honest. You know, people got to do what's best for them. I don't fault anybody for anything that they do, and they think is best for their family. I don't know the ins and outs of that. I was too removed to know or to see that. But I did know that, like, once the demand happened and now the league's put on notice this close to the deadline and there's already going to be shuffling, that Dallas looking to add superstar talent was not like a secret or anything. And, you know, you got to use the best assets you have available to try to get what you want. And usually, obviously, that involves picks, and that involves, you know, a player or 2 or 3 that, you know, people find value in around the league. And so they kind of asked me that question after the Golden State game, and I said, you know, it's an honor to be in that conversation. I've been traded for a max guy before, and now traded for another max guy as part of a, you know, I would say more of a 50-50 package probably than the me and Bertans deal was. And shout out to Bertans, he's my guy, so it's nothing there. Just understand how the frameworks work. And I kind of covertly said a message to Doe in that conference that, you know, it's an honor to have that type of value around the league. You know, especially being a second rounder undrafted, like we weren't supposed to be here. Facts. You know, and I think that's a cliche that a lot of people say, you know, to try to pitch the underdog story. I'm not here for any sympathy because I feel like when I'm on the court, I'm one of the best players in the world. And you guys know that already because I've said that many times. And like I said, with the game winners and things like that, you got to believe that in your heart to really go out there and do that. But the business is the business. A superstar is a superstar. He puts butts in the seats. You know what I mean? He scores a lot of points. He's a great, phenomenal player and talent. And so if they're saying, hey, we feel like this is best value for us for now and for the future, then that means you must be pretty good too. And I think that says a lot about Doe, especially because you can argue that I'm a nostalgia play. You can argue that he's the talent that is covered. I'm just saying, depending upon how you look at it. So it's another shout out to Doe, like I said, and it's an honor to be up on the stage with him.
Nah, they heard you the first time, bro.
Big Doe.
Spence, you mentioned the nostalgia play. You are now back here on the contract that the Nets didn't sign you to a couple of years ago when you left. Did that strike you any kind of way, just funny or otherwise?
Well, the contract I won from the Nets a couple of years ago was 5 years, $125 million. I'm being real. I said that publicly. I wanted 25 annually, and I wanted it from the Nets, but I wanted all 5 years because they could sign me to a longer deal. I understand, obviously, that I was coming off ACL, the time and all that other stuff. I didn't want 3 years, 62 roughly, you know what I'm saying, with the health clauses, whatever, from them. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I was at with it. And they made the decision that was best for their team, understandably so, as they should, because business is business. I don't really have hard feelings. I mean, I was a little sad, of course, because I would have wanted them to say that they liked me at that number then, but you know, you got to look at the direction of the team, who was on the team. Like, you got Harden, you got KD, you got Kyrie. Like, I'm expendable at that point. Like, we talked about it. Business is business. As superstars, like, they make a certain amount of money. You got to retain cap flexibility for whatever your plans are and outlook. And I'm not in those war rooms. I don't know all that stuff, and I don't claim to. So I've moved around enough and been in the league long enough not to take things too personal.
There's also, just the last couple of days, a lot of reporting before this trade became official that the Nets were engaged in 3-team talks with Toronto. There's continuing reports about the Nets trying to still improve. Have you been given any direct assurances that you are here to stay and not being moved again?
That's not something I can comment on for real. I know that their trade deadline is still a couple days away. I mean, I assume I'm here. I plan to be here. I don't think we'd be having this press conference if they weren't. This would be a lot of trouble just to ship me off in 6 hours. But no, I'm serious. Like, then we all look crazy. Y'all wasted y'all time. I wasted my time. But in general, like I said again, business is business. Like, if they offered, you know, Luka Doncic for me right now in an expanded trade, if I was Sean Marks, I'd take it. Why not? You feel me? So it all kind of probably depends on what comes available, what happens. It's a business. Sometimes you got to remove yourself and put on your GM hat. But there are definitely some trades that I wouldn't make for me as well.
To you both, I wanted to see if you guys talked to Coach about what your roles are and what you expect, and also for Doe, I wanted to see if you could expound on your knowing Cam since he was 10.
Well, my role on this team, I guard the best player on the court. I take a challenge in that. I can guard multiple positions. I can play multiple positions. You ain't got to draw up a play for me. I'm gonna find ways to, get the ball and be aggressive. Just a winning mentality. I'm gonna bring that to the team. And as far as Cam, I know his family. I know he is about, great dude. Still learning, but he a bucket. I mean, he always been scoring the ball since he was a kid. So. Seeing him put up points like he is not surprising. I know I could probably help him a little bit, here and there on the defense end and stuff like that. But he do what he do. He know he can do good too. So, and I ain't a man with big words like Spence. So don't expect me to talk much.
No, I actually meet with JV after this to probably discuss the explicit nature of my role, but in general, it's probably pretty self-explanatory, right? Be ready to spot up and shoot with, KD when he's got the ball and being aggressive. If Cam Thomas is on a heater, for example, probably get out of his way. Try to create shots for shooters like Joe, Seth, Doe. Be aggressive in terms of making plays at the rim. And, guard too. I mean, simple stuff. At this stage, I pretty much kind of got to do the similar type stuff. Be aggressive in the pick and roll, and if the clock gets down, break down the defense.